Hello everybody and welcome back to Coastercouple. So obviously for the last few months we have been very much enjoying playing Planet Coaster 2, and today I thought I was just going to go through some of the differences I've personally picked up between the two games. Like I said before, I didn't really play Planet Coaster much, but I did go back and play it recently and I've really enjoyed playing it, and I've noticed a few things, the paths, which have definitely improved, so very grateful for that. But let's have a little look at them side by side and see the differences basically between the two. So obviously this is Planet Coaster 2, this is obviously the park that I've been working on. The one that we've been playing through in the videos, doing a playthrough. Obviously, you know, the first thing is obviously going to be the graphics. The graphics in this game are so incredibly clear. I mean, when I zoom in, literally, look, you can see everybody's facial expressions. This guy's walked straight into the camera. And also in the new fix, obviously, they did the thing where you can dive into the water, and then you get the water droplets, and it's just so clear and so amazing. Okay, so I've just flicked over to Planet Coaster, which is obviously the original one, and this is a land that I built the other day very quickly on Planet Coaster. It is a Viking themed land. Obviously, you know, straight away, if we look at the graphics, they're definitely not as clear. I mean, they're not like bad, but obviously, you know, they're definitely clearer on the new one. You can still like got your zoom and everything like that. And obviously, we don't have the very cool effect that if we go into the water, where have I put my water? We don't get that effect that we get the water droplets, and we can't in fact zoom really, you know, into the water. I'm now under the water. There's my animatronic. That was quite a jump scare actually, but obviously, yeah, we don't get that really cool effect of being able to get the water droplets. But I mean, it's still pretty cool to be under here to be able to see everything. Jump scare. But yeah, so I still really enjoy the graphics on this. Obviously, you know, it can be a bit laggy at times, but I do think it's still got its positives. So while obviously we are looking at Planet Coaster, we might as well talk about the theming. Obviously, you know, one of the lands that you could do on Planet Coaster was a pirate land. So obviously, you know, they had a lot of pre-built stuff, which was definitely really good, because when I first started playing the game on Planet Coaster 2, I kind of wish there was more pre-built stuff because I didn't really have the ability to build it from scratch. Obviously my skills are getting a lot better now, but I just think that having a pirate theme was really, really cool. And obviously, you know, we had more theming as well within the ride. So let me go on to the scenery and we should be able to see it just on here. Or did I go on building? I think I went on building. Here we go. So obviously on here we had the fairy tale theme, which was like the castles. You had the festive stuff, which is really cool. So this is like your gingerbread houses and stuff like that, which basically you can use to make like a North Pole, which is what I started making. There's like the pirate village, so obviously that goes in with the other ones. That's the theme just there. Then we've got the sci-fi. Wow, that's huge. And then we've got the fairy tale one. And there's just like a lot more like buildings and stuff, which I think just look really nice. Obviously you can stack these to make like a hotel and stuff. Obviously I know with Planet Coaster 2, you know, you can build stuff, but definitely if you're a beginner, I think Planet Coaster personally, in my opinion, had a lot more going for it, that it was kind of able to be used. And I think definitely when I first started playing, I wish it had more stuff. Obviously, you know, with your ride, you've pretty much got like some similar flat rides. We've got the sun flare, which you can see in Planet Coaster 2. We've got the radius, which is the same. We've got overpower, which is the same. So there's quite a lot of like similar rides. We've got the bumper cars, obviously the coasters. Quite a few of the coasters are the same. Obviously this is called Flight of the Dragon. In this one you can't actually get a pre-made blueprint of this coaster, to be precise. In Planet Coaster 2 you can build it from scratch, and it's classified as a junior coaster in Planet Coaster 2. So flicking back over to Planet Coaster 2, obviously one of the big things that did get added was you could buy the DLC pack, and in the DLC pack we had the Max Spinning Extreme Coaster. I don't think I've got one of these in my park yet. I do have the DLC pack, so obviously that was added that we didn't have in the other one. A few rides were obviously taken out as well. I know that annoyed a lot of people, some of the coasters, but one of the big things that they did add in Planet Coaster 2 is they've added the ability to build swimming pools and flumes, and I have very much enjoyed being able to build those. Obviously, until recently there's been a bit of a bug, which meant that people weren't able to actually use the pools, like guests were not using it, but obviously now we can see that's been fixed because my pools are being quite well used. Apart from these two, they might not be connected, but we can definitely see more of a use now. Obviously, like I said as well, there's flumes as now that we can have, which are really fun, and it's so fun to see the guests go down on them. There's like a huge amount of flumes. Obviously, you can build your own as well, and the same with the pools. You can build your own pools, which I think is really fun and a really cool thing to add. So obviously, we were looking at the theming on Planet Coaster. And, you know, like I said, we had the pirate theme, we had the fairy tale, we had the sci-fi, and then just like the general one as well. So there was quite a lot of theming. This one, obviously, it brings the aquatic theme, which is what we've got here. I've done a Viking one, which is really nice. And also we've had the mythological. This is obviously what they've given us pre-built. You know, when you type it in, a bit like the other one. Not to say that you can't make your own themes with the stuff that you've been given, but from a beginner's perspective, which is what I was when I first started out, I do think still, like I said, Planet Coaster had a lot more of the stuff. Obviously, this is just stuff I've picked up as I've gone along, hence why this land is a lot more detailed than my Viking land. My Viking land was the first thing I ever built when playing Planet Coaster, so I was still learning it. Hence why this one's a lot brighter, you know, a lot more fun. There's more stuff because I actually learned how to play the games. I learned how to change the colours of everything. And I learned about like custom scenery, like building my own little like scenic bits and everything like that. So I was quite pleased with myself actually. Obviously, we flick back to Planet Coaster 2. The paths are so easy to build. Like we've got all of these options now. We have like literally the stamp builder, which means we can literally just make a straight path like this. We don't have to worry about doing all the curves and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, you still got your one where you can build it, but instead of doing the weird circle shapes, you can still have a straight path, and you can kind of like wrap it around and connect it, which obviously when it comes to making plazas, it's definitely a lot easier, and you can literally use your square tool as well, and we can make the square tool really big. So it's like perfect for making plazas and literally like connecting everything up like this, and I just really enjoy it. And I think the paths are definitely a massive improvement. Okay, so now obviously we've seen how the new paths are in the Planet Coaster 2 from the playthroughs. Let's have a look at the paths on Planet Coaster. Obviously it starts off with this like circle, which is very odd, and obviously it jumps like that. I'm not an expert on the paths in Planet Coaster, so obviously I might be doing it wrong, but this is what I picked up so far. It kind of like, it's very difficult to make like plazas and stuff. Obviously I know you can do like your width, which then makes it a bit bigger, but it's just not as good, because obviously with the square tool, it just makes it so much easier. What I do find a little bit easier is I found it easier to make the slopes and stuff personally on this one, and like stairs and stuff. I do struggle on the new one, but that's probably again just a me thing. But I have found that a little bit easier on this one. But again, it's a bit of a strange one because you're very limited to your like colours and stuff here. So it's kind of like what you've got is what you've got, really, you know. And obviously on the new one we can have bins and we can have benches that get put on as well. They've still got the natural paths, you know, they've still got quite a lot of choices. But again, with the queue lines, you haven't really got much choice. You've got just kind of like what they kind of assign for you. So it's not very exciting in the scheme of things. Another super strange thing that you got on Planet Coaster, I say strange because it is a little bit strange, is that obviously down here you can do the camera effects. So I say strange because obviously I don't really understand what it brings to the game, unless I guess if you can only see in a certain colour, maybe that might help you out. But obviously, you know, they've taken this away from Planet Coaster 2, and it just kind of like, you can just change the colour of your park, really. I mean, that's a bit trippy. I mean, for photos, I mean, it's probably quite fun, but yeah, that's quite bright. I mean, why? That is just, some of them are just like a little bit strange. I can understand why people do like them. I think especially like if you're going to be taking photos or just like, you know, for your social media or something like that, you know, it adds a little bit of an edge, but it's a little bit strange, and I don't really care that they haven't included it in the new one, to be honest with you. And obviously, looking back at Planet Coaster 2, obviously we do have the recent update, which means within Sandbox, we are able to change the weather. Obviously, you can't do that in Planet Coaster, and it is brand new to Planet Coaster 2, which basically means, as it says, you can override the weather, which is part of the hotfix, and you can just change the weather to be how you want it to be. I don't know why you want it heavy rain, because it does affect how the guests use the stuff in your park. But yeah, it's quite cool, you know, especially if you've got a lot of like water rides, or you've got a special water park. I think it's definitely helpful because it means people are actually going to use it. Okay, so that brings us to the end. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing the differences. Obviously, that isn't all of them. That's just a few that I've picked up, and I've just kind of like noticed myself. It's not every single thing, like I said. There's definitely a lot more that has been improved behind the scenes, like little bug fixes and little like iggly piggly bits every now and then. But yes, thank you so much, guys, for joining. I hope you've all enjoyed the video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer, obviously, Planet Coaster 2? I definitely think, obviously, you know, graphics-wise, spot on. You know, there is a lot of positives to both games, and I generally really enjoy both. But yes, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you all next time.